Hi, my name is Cindy Needham, and this is my updated YouTube lecture on the ultimate shape. When I'm teaching my design class, especially my whole cloth design class, I talk a lot about being able to repeat a square design over and over again and being able to create a beautiful overall whole cloth quilt. We can take that same concept, repeat that on pieced blocks, and you still get that overall design. This shape, this is why I call it the ultimate shape. It's a square, has the arches on all four sides. We have got diagonal lines cut through the corners and vertical and horizontal lines through the middle. I decided I'd have this made for my students in class because they were spending so much time drafting this for every single square, and I went, wow, we need to have this cut into a stencil so the process goes much faster. So I had the ultimate shape, here's the stencil, and I had it cut in 2, 4, 6, and 8-inch sizes. This way it can accommodate most quilt blocks. When you're using a stencil, I always encourage you to visually take it apart. Look at the parts and the pieces. So the ultimate shape, it's the same thing. Here's our ultimate shape with every single line. If you take out the vertical and horizontal lines, you're left with this space to play with. If you take out the diagonal lines, you're left with this space to play with. We can take out the arches. You've got lines. You can take everything out except for this one little pie shape, or you can use just the arch itself to fill in different spaces in your quilt. So it's a really versatile tool. So here's a very basic pinwheel block. When I'm using the ultimate shape in a pieced quilt setting, I'm always using the lines that are going through either diagonally or vertically and horizontally to line up to get me center. So obviously this ultimate shape is too small for this square, but by lining it up using the lines that I've got, that's putting me in a true center, and then I can mark the arch. Take that on all four sides. Okay, and now we've got these great arches, so when I go to quilt it, I can just eyeball it from the corner and follow that arch down into the next corner. I don't know about you, but when I'm doing these long arches, it's hard to get a perfect arch. I'm always making them flat on one side, fat on the other. All four arches are different sizes. So by drawing a guideline with my shape, that's ensuring that those arches are going to be the same throughout the whole quilt. So let's say we've got a piece quilt with these little 9 patches. You can take an ultimate shape, put it in your open space, mark it, and when you repeat that 4 times, look at the beautiful circle that you've created by those arches repeating themselves. And you've also got these great diagonal lines that go through. You don't have to limit yourself to putting this in just the open areas. Put it in your blocks too, and then you're getting the cathedral window or double wedding ring type of effect. So I've got a class sample where I'm showing how this looks repeated in a pieced block setting. So I've got the ultimate shape in the middle, but I've also repeated it in the batik squares, and I filled with repetitive lines and pebbles and bubbles. Okay. In a whole cloth setting, I've repeated it exactly the same way. Repeated it square, and I also encourage my students to take any design and flip it so that it's on point, and you get a totally different effect, whether it's square or whether it's on point. So here's a sample. I used cherrywood fabrics, cherrywood.com, fabulous. I use their fabrics all the time. And I used Hobbs Tuscany wool batting. You can see how the wool goes into my designs to poof it. And then I use Superior Threads Magnifico for the feathers and the kimono silk for the fine details. But I love how this looks repeated for an overall whole cloth type effect. And then this is a sample that I did for Hobbs for their booth for Houston last year. And this is using a gold, not gold, orange Dupioni silk, wool batting, Superior Threads tire silk. And then the back, I think is just as pretty. I love how the back came out. But this again is using the Ultimate Shape. All right. So in the ebook that comes with the Ultimate Shape, I've got loads of designs to inspire you so that you can do any multitude of designs. But a lot of people are real curious about this one. So let me show you how to do this one. Okay, so for this one, I've used my Ultimate Stencil. So you can check out my new updated video on the Ultimate Stencil. I've taken my Ultimate Shape, and just as I said before, I'm just using that one little part. And I'm taking that part of the Ultimate Shape, lining it up to the angle on my Ultimate Stencil, and I'm marking it. I can bring it down and mark it. Bring it down and mark it, and I end up with this design. And I filled it with repetitive lines, freeform feathers, and this is what this sample looks like. This is one of my favorites. Love how this came out. And then I also used 3 of the lines from the Ultimate Stencil to make my feather border going around. So I have a free ebook that comes with the Ultimate Shape. If you're interested, go to my website, cindyneedham.com, and you can email me and request that, and I'd be more than happy to send that to you. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.